I'm back, capacity for biology again. We are streaming in live today, still for the same topic, and it is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And previously we saw, or we looked at the process of fertilization in flowering plants. And we are streaming in live today to purposely look at fruits and the seeds. Having looked at the process of fertilization in a flowering plant, I think we are cool to go and have a look at the fruits and seeds. We are going to basically start with the fruits right now in this video. And at least almost all of us would like to know what really the word fruit means. We are going to look at a number of them where we have even things you do not recognize as fruits. This is a fruit. We are going to look at this. All these are fruits. We can take this as fruit. We have a number of them. We have these ones. This is a fruit. Of them. We also have this one. It is a fruit. So we are going to look at what is a fruit. A fruit is simply a mature and fertilized ovary. So we are going to find that a fruit is simply a mature and fertilized ovary. It's what we are looking at. We have several types of fruits. We have types of fruits. The fruits are majorly grouped into two major types. We have what we call simple. We have what we call true, and we also have what we call false fruits. So we have two major categories of fruits. We have the simple and the true fruit. The false and the true fruits. These two are almost slightly different from one another in a definition, but you may not realize that one of the two, we can take an example of an apple. We can take an example of an apple and a tomato. So we have two fruits here. We have a tomato and an apple. We are going to see why is an apple classified as a false fruit and a tomato classified as a true fruit. A true fruit, for a fruit to be true or to be considered a true fruit, will be that one fruit it will be that fruit formed from only the ovary after fertilization. It will be that fruit formed from only the ovary, not any other part of the flower after fertilization. So for any fruit to be classified as a true fruit, it must be only formed from the ovary, not any other part of the flower. But a false fruit will be that fruit that is formed from both the ovary and the other parts of the what? Of the flower, such as the calyx and the receptacle. We are looking at the two types of fruits. The two fruits are only formed from the ovary, not any other part of the fruit. But the first fruits can be formed as a result of combination of both the ovary and any other part of the fruit after fertilization. After fertilization. We can take an example of an apple. An apple, when you try to cut an apple, inside there is a paperless cover that surrounds the seeds of the apple. That is an ovary. After fertilization, it's not the ovary that forms the fruit, the edible part of the fruit of the apple. It's the combination of the calyx and the receptacle. The ovary is just that paperless structure inside surrounding the seeds of an apple. So an apple is classified as a false fruit because it is not only formed from the ovary, but from other parts of the flower. So it is classified as a false fruit. If we are to move on, the true fruits are further categorized into other three categories. So the true fruits so yes, they are true fruits, but they are further broken down into other three categories. Under these, we have what we call the simple fruits. We are going to look at them and exhaust them. We also have what we call aggregate fruits. And we also have what we call the multiple fruits. So we have three categories of true fruits. We have simple fruits, we have aggregate fruits, we also have multiple fruits. Before we go any further, for those people on the platform, have you ever heard about these ones? Do you have anyone with any idea about these three categories? Do you have anyone, please? You can type it. Ndagire, do you have any idea? On Nantambi, do you have any idea about those three categories of simple fruits? Hope no. Let's move on. We say the true fruits are purely formed from the ovary after fertilization. So for these two fruits to be called simple fruits, they must be formed from a single they are fruits formed from a single flower. But this single flower must be made of a single pistil, must be made of a single pistil or several pistils, but with several fused couples. So the simple fruits and the aggregate fruits, they are made from a single flower, one flower, make up these fruits. But for the simple ones, they are made of a single flower with a pistil made up of one couple, or a pistil made up of more than one couple but fused. Let me come again. I've said the aggregate and simple flower, fruits are made up of one flower each. But for the simple ones, they are made up of a single flower with a pistil made up of one couple or several couples, but fused. For the aggregate fruits, they are made up of a single flower, yes, with one pistil, made up of several couples that are free. So the flower making up an aggregate fruit must be with several free couples. But for this one, is either made up of a single couple, not a pistil, or several couples that are fused. For this one, is made up of a single flower whose pistil is made up of several free couples. We say couples is a collection of the ovaries, style, and the stigma. To move on, the multiple fruits, we can give examples of simple fruits before we go any further. Yes. Zahala is giving something, saying that aggregates are formed from one flower in which the pistil consists of several free couples. That is very nice. That's what you've mentioned here, Madam Zahala. Thank you for that effort. So you can give examples of simple fruits. We have very many. The legumes, they are made up of, they are simple fruits, made from a single flower, or it's made of a single flower with a single couple, monocarpous pistil, or apocarpous pistils. Cycarpous pistils. Then the aggregate, they are made up of flowers with apocarpous pistils, several free couples. So you can give examples of berries here. If you don't know berries, we can show them to you. I'm going to show them to you. But for the multiple fruits are made up of several flowers. They are made up of several flowers. The several flowers we are talking of, their ovaries fuse or add up to form one fruit after fertilization. So this is an example, a good example of an aggregate fruit. These are aggregate fruits, the berries. They are of several types, but they are good examples. They are formed from a single flower, but this flower having very many couples that are free. So this is a good example. Then the multiple fruits, they are made from several flowers whose ovaries fuse after fertilization to form a single fruit. We can give examples of a pineapple. A pineapple is a multiple fruit made up of several flowers which fuse to form a single fruit after fertilization. Yes, those are good examples. The legumes, all legumes, including Zaharanat, thanks for being active. You're giving good examples. The oranges, they are fine, the beans, the tomatoes, and so many other fruits. They are made of a single flower with a single pistil made up of a single couple or several couples fused together. So the multiple fruits we can give other examples like the jackfruit. The jackfruit, many flower ovaries join up after fertilization to form a single fruit. So those are multiple fruits. You can look for more examples to add on these two. Before we go into details of these fruits, I think you have your pens and books where you're noting. We have fruits that form without fertilization. We have an example of a pineapple. The pineapple fruit, and then the banana fruit. These two fruits form without fertilization. This kind of fruits that form without fertilization, without fusion of the male and the female gametes, are known as parthenocarpic fruits. They are known as parthenocarpic fruits. And they form by a process we call as parthenocarpy. They form by a process we call parthenocarpy. The term parthenocarpy means formation of fruits without fertilization. Before we go any further, we need to know this information. The pineapples and banana fruits are known as parthenocarpic fruits because they form without what? Fertilization, without fusion of the male and the female gametes. Before we push any further, any question? If we don't have any question, let me think we've understood everything. Let's continue. Let us have a look at the types of simple fruits. There are reasons to why fruits are called fruits. Practical reasons. There are reasons to why fruits are called fruits. One, all fruits possess two scars. One scar is left after the disintegration of the calyx, and the other remains as the attachment to the style. Secondly, after fertilization, the ovary wall forms what we call a fruit wall. And this fruit wall is known as a pericarp. So every fruit is catalyzed of possession of a pericarp. A pericarp is a fruit wall. And this fruit wall is made up of 3 layers in most of the fruits. It is made up of the epicarp, which is the outer layer of the pericarp, the mesocarp, which is the middle layer, and the endocarp, which is the innermost layer. We can use a mango. The epicarp is that small peeling on a mango. Let's use an avocado. An avocado, when it is ripe, the peeling of an avocado is the epicarp. What you eat is the mesocarp. And the layer that is surrounding the seed, which is a bit woody and fibrous, is what we call the endocarp. So those are the layers of the pericarp of a fruit. We've said the pericarp is a fruit wall. So we are giving characteristics of fruits.
Jim Freya, that's what is that? The receptacle. Then.
A receptacle on a flower. If you've ever seen a flower, a drawing of a flower, if you have ever seen a flower, the receptacle, and these are sepals, these are petals. The receptacle is what surrounds the calyx to the stalk. If you followed yesterday's lesson, I'm responding to someone who's asking about a receptacle. Let me show it to you. If you've ever seen a flower, on a flower, this is a receptacle. The one that is holding the calyx and the petals. The receptacle is this part that connects to the pedicel. This is the receptacle, this part, the outer part of the flower that holds the calyx and the corolla. I think we are together. Whoever asked that question. So that is a receptacle. I think I've answered that one's question. We are giving the characteristics of fruits.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. So the third characteristic, when you cut any fruit, you'll find that all fruits possess seeds. It is a characteristic of all of fruits. When cut, fruits possess seeds. I'm bringing this one because it is going to be very crucial in our next part of classifying simple fruits. Let me hope everyone now understands the meaning of the word pericarp. A pericarp is a fruit wall. It is going to be a crucial term when describing the other categories of simple fruits. If you're okay, we can continue. Great. To continue, we are going to give the types of simple fruits. We have two major types of simple fruits. And in these types, we have what we call the succulent fruits and the dry fruits. We have two types of simple fruits. We have the dry and succulent fruits. The succulent fruits will be those fruits whose pericarp we mentioned previously are those fruits whose pericarp becomes more fleshy as the fruit matures. Are the ones we shall call the succulent fruits. And we shall find that even the succulent fruits have categories we shall look at with time. And then the dry fruits are the ones whose pericarp whose layers of the pericarp fuses and becomes dry as the fruit ripens. We have 3 layers of the pericarp. As the dry fruits ripen or matures, these 3 layers fuses to appear like one. And as they fuse, the pericarp becomes dry. So that makes these fruits, the dry fruits, to be termed as dry fruits, because the 3 layers of the pericarp fuses and the pericarp dries as the fruit ripens. The dry fruits are further divided into 2 categories. I don't want to be too fast because I want everyone to be at board. The dry fruits are divided into 2 categories. We have the dry dehiscent fruits and the dry indehiscent fruits. Let me hope we are following. The dry fruits are of 2 categories. We've said these dry fruits, their pericarp, the 3 layers of the pericarp fuses such that the pericarp dries up as the fruit ripens. So the dry dehiscent fruits are those fruits whose pericarp splits to open along lines of weakness when on the pericarp when the fruit ripens. Whenever the dry dehiscent fruits ripen, the pericarp, yes, dries, but it opens along lines of weakness to release seeds along the pericarp whenever the fruit ripens. Let me think together. These lines of weakness are known as sutures. We are looking at the dry fruits. We've said they are of 2 categories, dehiscent and indehiscent. The dry dehiscent, they are capable of opening by splitting along lines of weakness, we call sutures, on the pericarp when the fruit ripens to release seeds. And then the dry indehiscent, yes, the pericarp dries up such that the 3 layers of the pericarp fuses, but it do not open at any point of them to release the seeds. We are looking at the dry indehiscent. For these ones, do not open up. The word dehiscent means dehiscent comes from a Greek word, dehis, which stands for opening, splitting. So if it is indehiscent, they do not open up to release the seeds. We shall look at the other categories of these indehiscent fruits later, but let's look at the dry dehiscent fruits in details, if you don't mind, if you don't have any questions. Yes, we are going to look at the details of the dehiscent fruits, if you don't mind.
the other name of dry fruits, dry dehiscent fruits?
No, among the dry dehiscent, the dry fruits, we have two categories: dry dehiscent and dry indehiscent fruits. So it's not another name. Let me hope we are together, Team Freya. Is it Team Freya?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me hope we are together. So let's move on and look at the dry dehiscent fruits in details.
Saying yes, sir. Okay.
Great. I'm grateful. So let us look at the dry dehiscent fruits. We've said they are dry because the pericarp dries up as the fruit ripens, and we've said they are called dehiscent since they split to open. They split to open along lines of thickness, grouped into categories. And these categories are three. The dry dehiscent fruits are either follicles or legumes or capsules. So the dry dehiscent fruits are of three categories. They are either follicles, legumes, or capsules. Let me hope we are moving. The follicles, these ones all open up along one line of weakness. When dry, they only have one line of weakness. The live example we can give here is that of a cassia fruit. Let me hope you've ever seen the cassia fruit. Let me show it to you here. I'm going to show you an example of a follicle. For them, they have only one line of weakness. Let me hope you are seeing this one. You see, this one, the fruits are opening only at the upper end. They only have one line of weakness. They open to release the seeds. This is a good example. So I'm going to give you the examples of these follicles. You note them. So we are looking at the follicles as types of dry dehiscent fruits. We said they only have one line of weakness along which they open to release the seeds. So this is an example of a follicle. I can also show you another example of a follicle. I want to give you a good example here. So there is another one here. I want to give you a good example. We have one here. There is one there. It is opening along one line of weakness to release the seeds. Hope you're seeing. It is not opening on the other side. It is only opening here to release the seeds. So that is a good example of follicles. So we are going to give the examples. Or I give it as an assignment. How do you see people? Do I leave it as an assignment? If you support that, you say yes or no. Please. So I'm giving examples of follicles. We have the milkweed, the cassia fruit. They are the commonest. The magnolia, these are good examples of follicles. They only have one line of weakness along which they open to release the seeds. We have what we call the legumes. For these ones have two lines of weakness along which they open to release seeds. For this one, the examples are live. We have the likes of the bean fruit, the groundnut fruit, the soya bean fruit, and so many other examples. For them, they have two lines of weakness along which they open to release the seeds. Then the follicles, they only have one line of weakness along which they open to release the seeds. The follicles, the capsules, they have many, I would say many, have many lines of weakness. They have many lines of weakness along which they open to release the seeds. I'll give a good example of the castor oil. The Baganda, I've ever heard about it, soga. Let me hope you've ever seen it. We have the likes of the, let me show them to you before you write them.
Team of Prayer is saying, so teacher, the thing that differentiates them are the number of such as.
Yes. The difference between these three categories of the dehiscent fruits are the number of sutures. These ones have one, these ones have two, the other ones have more than two. They have many. Let me show them to you here. Examples of capsules. Sorry. So I want to show you. This is one of them. Hope you see that one. It has more than two. There is this one, there is this line, there is this line, there is the other line. There are so many lines of weakness along which the fruit can open to release the seeds. Let me hope you see them. We can give many examples. This one is a good one. The fruit is opening very well. Let me hope you see that. There are very many lines of weakness opening up to release the seeds. There is this one. There is that one. The fruit is opening up to show, to release the seeds or to expose the seeds. They are giving examples of capsules. So those are the capsules we have. They have many lines of weakness along which the fruits open to release the seeds. So you can give many examples: the castor oil, the cotton fruit, the eucalyptus fruit, the mahogany fruit, the nigera fruit. There are very many. The castor oil, for them open up along many lines of weakness to release the seeds. And sometimes under dry dehiscent fruits, people include what we call the scissor caps. In certain textbooks, you will find that they classify scissor caps as dehiscent fruits. But the scissor caps do not open to expose the seeds, but they don't have longitudinal lines of weakness. For these ones they are called so because they have longitudinal. Actually, this word is crucial in their definitions. Longitudinal lines of weakness. The scissor caps do not have these longitudinal lines of weakness. They instead have vertical lines of weakness. These vertical lines of weakness do not open to release the seeds, but they separate. They separate what we call lotules. The compartments where seeds are found. When dry, or when ripe, or when mature, these scissor caps break along with these vertical lines of weakness to release, not to release, but to set free the lotules containing seeds, but they do not expose the seeds. So we don't classify them as dehiscent fruits. They are indehiscent fruits. However, they have lines of weakness, but the lines of weakness are vertical lines of weakness, not longitudinal lines of weakness, as it is to these three categories. So we shall talk about scissor caps in dry indehiscent fruits. Let me hope we are clear. For these ones we can give an example of a scissor cap, which is a green leaf desmodium. If you have any question, please pose it. I'm going to respond to it.
Sir, what about the scissor caps? And they also are class of dry dehiscent fruits?
Let me hope I've answered you. Zahala, have I answered you, please? If you have, if you're conversant, you can respond with a yes. Have I answered you? Zahala, have I answered you? Please text. For them have vertical lines of weakness. Zahala. Respond.